back to Down the Rabbit Hole podcast, episode 37. It's been a minute. Been a couple of busy weeks, actually.
Well, we took a couple of weeks off. Mm-hmm. We can run out of news content, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of slowed down a bit during the previous weeks, and I was a bit of a busy bee. I was working on 2 other projects. More on that when the time comes for them to be released. But otherwise, have you guys been?
We've been good. We've been good.
Have we been good?
Yes, we've been good. We've been good.
Have we been good?
But now we're back. We're back.
What is happening?
Back in
I
action.
think it's been an interesting couple of weeks, and like it's a pretty interesting one to come back to. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. It's going to be quite localized. Actually, I say that, and there's only like one local element, but
It's a pretty big local element.
Spend a lot more time on it. So let's start.
All right, let's kick it off. We're kicking off with a pretty serious and tragic event that, well, 2 events actually that occurred over this past week in Sydney and involved the unfortunate incidents of stabbings, one that occurred in Bondi, Westfields, and the other that occurred in Wakeley at a church.
Yeah, I mean, where do we begin? Like, so this happened last weekend, and I think when the news broke out, it broke out
Saturday
around
afternoon.
5 to 6 maybe.
Event the occurrence happening at like from 3 something.
Yeah.
You almost don't believe it, right? Like, so we're talking about specifically the Bondi Westfield stabbings. I mean, now we know that the individual at hand, his name is Joel Cauchi. 6 people were killed, 5 women, and 1 security guard, I believe, right?
1 security guard started on the job.
12 individuals injured. Again,
including a 9-month-old baby.
9-month-old baby. So just shocking scenes, and like visually when you hear it, we heard like that it was an individual with a machete, right? Like that's what was like the going description, and like
on social media.
Yeah. And this is like when you just picture that visual, and I was going to say Bondi Westfields, it's just something that it makes no sense,
the
right?
dissonance and the you would just never think
it would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Sydney was in pandemonium. I think we were in disbelief. We listened to obviously the news of the night, and we're fed. I mean, when you hear something like that, initially, I think, rightly so, due to the current environment that we're in, you think terrorism. Like, I'll say it out there, because initially, I think that's what a lot of people were thinking about, that was actually occurring. But, once reports came in, we understood that it was an individual working alone. And then you start hearing these stories, and then you just almost in a state of like shock, confusion, how one man in such a big amount of space can cause so much havoc, but like it clearly happened, right?
Yeah, and chuck in as well, I guess, in the state that we live in regards to social media and information and live accounts being there and being able to know the news as quickly as it happens, I guess. Then the want for information and clarity is important, but then I guess the speculation, as you mentioned, of post 9/11 and the thought of terrorism, right, is just a thing that we've just have to start, like, I guess, living with, know it, and unfortunately,
this wasn't terrorism though, right?
it wasn't, but the brain, there's probably some scientific term for it where there's a cognitive bias, like, or the way that your brain makes a shortcut to either make sense of something, or there's making a quick judgment based on what level of information that you have, right? Like people have been making all of these calls that are like, as the event, took place, once it all settled down and everyone's trying to understand, and I get, because you're being rocked by something like that, you want to get some meaning as to what has caused this.
Yeah, I'm pretty intrigued. Like when we zoom out, like obviously reports have now come out that Joel Cauchi has a history of mental illness, and we're not going to go specifically into all of that stuff and the stabbings, but it's very interesting, just to observe like the social media recourse, right? So since the Lint Siege Cafe, we haven't seen something like this. So needless to say, Australia...
We haven't seen anything like this to this
Extent.
level, to this extent, to this profile.
That, right? So
probably, and I guess in comparison to potential audiences from overseas, right? It's this is polarizing for us because it's just something that
it's not something we're used to processing.
Yeah.
But I think just to see like the amount of panic, confusion, and I don't know the word. Hatred's probably like the strong word, but you can see that like we like the current state of the world, like Sydney and Australia, you know, they kept using the moniker, these are scenes and things that you not see in Australia, but you see in the US.
Yeah.
And rightly so, like there's definitely elements of that, but like I think we're coming to a point where not to say that we're desensitized, but a lot of these things, Australia's not immune to it, right? And no country now
is
immune to it, especially with the rate in which information is flowing around the world here. But again, people just confused, like mass hysteria. And then like when the information came out that it was just an individual with a knife there, and then you hear like the stories, and then you hear a baby and child, and I think that's when like all the gloves are off. You know, people are just it's not something that I think the human brain can comprehend, or it really takes time, right?
Even in the context of, you know, you hear about these some of these things happening, and you don't think about it happening in your own country, let alone to maybe something that to a person that you know.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, for like while we're at it very quickly, I guess like our heartfelt condolences to all the families that have been involved, that have been impacted. By all of this. I can't imagine what it's
the loss and the shock.
Especially,
it's like. I feel like it would be good to at least name the victims to pay respects. So Faraz Tahir, Jade Young, Pakria Darchia, Dawn Singleton, Ashley Good, and Yuxian Cheng, who were all killed during the stabbings on the scene.
Yeah, like, yeah. Even now, like, just thinking about it, like, I think all of Australia was like in a state of shock, and yeah, you got to see that good side of like the country of people of like all creeds and nationalities kind of like band together. But then you just got to see like a side of humanity that I think we're all aware exists, but sometimes can be sheltered in the country that we are in here.
Or, well, also, I guess, in light of that, right? Because again, knowing that this is this was not something that was based on a certain set of ideology or, well, there is a sense of there could be a...
They were looking for a motive.
The motive that's been presented.
I think that's the
like it's what I'm trying to say here is that it's I think the mental illness component, we can't look past that, because in the sense that people that are like this also need help.
Yes.
Right? And if they're not able to access the help, I mean, there's been reports whether he had been being removed off his medication. I mean, the plea from his parents and, you know, their commentary on it is very heartbreaking. But it's this I guess it shines a different light on a couple of things, right? Where it's access to health, access to support is very important. We need to be able to support those who need it, and being able to readily provide that access, especially for those who may be disadvantaged in any way. That's important. The other piece to this as well is I can't help but think about it, right, where 5 of the 6 that were unfortunately killed were women. And in light of trying to, like, you know, people trying to understand the motive and whatnot, very quickly want to highlight that, you know, there is this this ongoing, I guess,
violence against women.
Which he was apparently on report for as well, then known to the police for in Queensland.
Yeah.
But then when he moved to New South Wales, I guess that information wasn't known. But not to get into the details of things, it's just so, I guess what we're wanting to highlight here is how complex the issue is.
Yes.
The event, how it's impacting how people are still processing it in light of, I guess, the world that we live in, and it's how do we want to move past this?
Yes.
What do we need to do better at?
And just ways to hopefully avoid these kinds of situations again.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like it's a tough one. And a couple of days after, as if like that wasn't enough, like I think this happened pretty late on that particular day. And it was caught on video, Bishop
Live stream. Yeah.
a live stream. So like it was, you can actually, I mean, it's been taken off now. Bishop Mari Emmanuel, and Syrian bishop in Sydney, Australia, was stabbed. I mean, was it a pen? Was it? It was.
I still don't know if
Okay,
it was. Allegedly, it's a pen, or allegedly the knife didn't. The switch knife
Yeah,
didn't come
I heard
out.
version of
Like,
that. Look, he was stabbed during a live stream.
During a funeral.
Was it a funeral?
was it a funeral?
Apparently, it was a funeral.
It was a live
mass
stream,
funeral,
and this
yeah.
guy is actually quite well known. His live streams attract hundreds of thousands of viewers weekly.
Apparently, super popular on TikTok.
He is.
Yeah.
He's very popular. Like I've seen him in a couple of podcasts. But note that this has happened a couple of days after this. So Sydney is absolutely reeling.
And on top of that, there was a couple of low-profile incidents as well that had happened on the Friday.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
happened like in Bondi as well. And then there was another one in
So
another
look,
location.
It's like this particular scenario had its own little peculiarities. I mean, after that, there was rioting. There was mass rioting outside of a church for churchgoers. The actual bishop himself, prayed for the guy that stabbed him, and thank God, like all those individuals involved in that are all okay. The bishop and specifically, but yeah, like at the moment we're like, I don't want to over sensationalize it, but like Sydney specifically is in a mode that just we have not seen in a long while, where everyone's kind of on edge, right? Like the irony is, like you said, like knife crimes and crimes of violence, it occurs. It's just that the nature of both of these two acts in terms of the scale,
The impact,
the individuals,
profile.
like women, children, like that's pretty shocking.
Yeah.
And then you have a bishop being stabbed on a lot, like I'm sure a lot of you can probably find the videos, but when we saw the video, like you just don't see stuff like that. It's intense. Like it's actually intense. And I think, Australia is a blessed country, but we're not immune. Like the things that we're consuming, the wars that are being fought in the world now, a lot of people are they're just in a state of edge, right? And like when you have a couple of like individuals that are just not dealing with it in the correct way, or not processing it, you're seeing levels of manifestation.
Aren't being supported in the
Or
way.
aren't being
yeah.
supported. You're seeing levels of manifestation come out here on things that we just haven't seen, definitely at the scale and frequency, which is, yeah, like again, like what else can you say to stuff like this other than like, look, we're all here together, right? Like we all need to band together as a community. Like specifically for the bishop one, like the writing's intense. Like it's outside of a church. It's by
That was immediate.
like it was immediate.
Yeah.
Like we kind of get it, but like if the bishop can forgive, like arguably, like once we start going into that mob mentality, it gets really hard, right? So like it's easy to say that when again, and I kind of mentioned to you, like I find it like absolutely shocking that like we had one individual with a knife and maybe not a firearm that was able to do so much damage, and there were so many men there, and I like, this is going to be an unpopular take, but then like, dude, you're not the one. I'm talking to myself. You're not the one in there in utmost panic. You're hearing that there's a guy with a machete there, and through stuff like that we see acts of bravery. The bollard man. So you have one individual with like a bollard just going out there and actually doing his best. and good on him. And then you have like some of the security guards that got
The other security
the
guard.
other
that got
security
it.
guard that tried his best. So
And we of course the policewoman as well who was
Who
able
shot
to
down
who was
the
able
attacker.
to disarm the situation
Yeah.
on her own, and then tend to CPR as well
Yep.
after the fact. It's still like, as dire as things can be sometimes, still the goodness that can come through in these situations. I guess the resilience, the
I mean, they exist, right? And
Yeah.
they are basically the seeds of hope that make us believe for a better tomorrow and a better future, right? And I think what we've just got to like understand is like Australia as a country and like other countries are going to be hit by individuals or groups that seek to destabilize peace, whether at an individual level or at a systematic level. But it's our reactions as a community that determine how we process it forward. And if you're walking around with this on edge and this hate and you're looking for just one reason to pop, and it can be intentional or non-intentional, like that is a problem. That is an inherent problem, and that is probably what like levels we're seeing. Like it's pretty tough out there on various different levels when it comes to like inflation, the economy, the things that we're seeing out there in terms of petty theft and crime. And in places like America, it's amplified 2 to 3x.
and also I hate to say it's accepted as some level of normalcy, even like, again, don't want to get into the politics of the guns and everything like that, right? But
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we can't accept it here.
we can't,
Yes.
we can't, yeah.
We
Yeah.
can't accept
We
it
didn't. We
here.
didn't accept it when the guns. There was
During the
that.
Darwin shooting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that happened,
And then
took action there, and
Yeah.
and now we're at this point where
this is why these incidents have been such a shock, because at least, like, thank God that it didn't involve firearms, but there was still so much damage with simply something like a machete and a knife. But otherwise, we can only keep hoping, sending our condolences again to the family of the victims, and also keep hoping that the victims who are in hospital are recovering as well.
Yep.
And that Sydney itself will be able to not necessarily bounce back is a bit
Look
too
out.
strong a word, but like look out for each
look
other.
out for each other.
Hope that we this situation will never have to come to pass again.
Yeah.
And I guess in light of how you were saying it's that weird reminder of no matter how hectic the world can get, and we're all feeling the pressure of all of these different things that we're all kind of facing this, right? So I guess the important thing is just to have that sense of humanity for your people around you, and just to
and have the conversation.
Yeah.
Have the conversation with friends, like how you feel, how you process it, because
check in
when
with each
things
other.
are not processed, that's when you're looking for that opportunity to blow up. It's a bit of a weird way to word it, but
well, in
have the
any
conversation.
scale, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
whether there's disagreements across families, or your partner, or how it impacts you yourself at work, and any instance that you're facing.
Exactly. But yeah, otherwise, everyone, look out for each other. Take care of yourselves. But hopefully, these communities affected by these incidents will be able to recover as well and get through it. All right. Well, that was quite the heavy topic that we have kicked off with due to it consuming during the past week. So let's pivot to something, I guess, a little sillier.
A hard pivot.
A little sillier,
it's
a
not
little
silly,
lighter.
it's real life.
Going into music, actually, especially we're bringing back the diss tracks, especially between Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole.
I have a question. I
There we
asked
go.
Kev this question. I think it was, what was it, a couple of weeks ago when it first came out. I'm like,
Yeah.
can you explain to me the beef between yes, it was Kendrick, but it feels like the whole rap community now against Drake.
Yeah.
The silence was loud there.
As the resident, possibly former resident rap connoisseur.
The answer is I don't care. Like, I've had multiple people ask me about this. So maybe let's, before we go to Drake, let's go to the J. Cole Kendrick, because we were talking about it a couple of weeks. It's a bit old, right? But like, what I can't... Okay, so rap beefs are not a new thing.
No.
All right?
Yes.
Like, we've had...
They were legendary in the
legendary.
90s.
Classic rap beefs include Tupac and B.I.G., the
Notorious.
of the rap beefs. Yeah. Nas and Jay-Z. I mean, 50 Cent and it goes... Like, this is a thing.
Eminem and Nicki Minaj.
Is that a thing? Like, so this is a thing, right?
No, I just saw a meme very quickly because apparently they were involved at one point in time, and somebody said, "Can you imagine how fast their arguments are?"
Yeah, and isn't it? I know Cardi B beefs with a lot of people. Nicki Minaj as well.
Nicki particularly with what's her face? Megan Thee
Megan
Stallion.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So look.
Oh, Azalea Banks and everyone.
Okay. So look, let's talk about J. Cole and Kendrick, because we love J. Cole, right? Like, J. Cole is one of the better rappers out there. I think, like, good substance, good music, good songs.
By association.
By
wedding association.
So look, we used it in a wedding song. But anyway, got a full close. But anyway, back to this one. See, to a degree, I think there is a bit of skepticism, especially if you're not in the rap game, that we believe that these things are manufactured, right? Like, that there is an air of publicity, and any publicity is good publicity, especially in a genre where, I'm not going to say rap is dying, but like...
It is dying.
Okay, Hold up.
It's dying.
So I've typed in... Actually, no, let's talk about the beef. We'll just keep going.
Okay, sorry.
Circles, right? But specifically this one, J. Cole released a track called 7 Minute Drill, which ironically was for 5 minutes instead of 7 minutes, so it made no sense, which was a diss track. This is what did not make sense to me, and I'm sure you can go to YouTube and find people that have gone down the rabbit hole actually trying to understand it, but I'm not going to waste my time here, because as far as I'm concerned, this is manufactured nonsense. But anyway, this was in response to a diss that Kendrick did in 2020 on a guest verse in a Metro Boomin sound. So what I can't understand...
Metro Boomin, or like...
He's always booming,
yeah.
So, but what I can't understand is this is a 2020 track, and then, 2024, you decide to make a diss track? Come on, let's just piece that together, if that is true, by the way, because someone's probably going to pin it up and say that's not the case. That's what Gemini said, and I'm going to believe Gemini, all right? If that is true... We're talking a 4-year...
It's not a down the rabbit hole podcast without AI.
If that is true, you're releasing a diss track 4 years... Why would you release a diss track 4 years after?
Because it doesn't fit in the flow and feel of the album at the moment.
It's not the flow.
Had to keep it in the vault.
I can only assume that, like, sales are slow for J. Cole, and he wants to ruffle some feathers and make it. And the irony about the J. Cole one, apart from the fact that critics, pundits, people said that it was a weak diss. How the hell are you going to call a track 7 Minute Drill and be 5 minutes? It makes, like, straight up
feedback. Get your
numbers right.
Let's just say that a lot of individuals thought it was a very weak diss track. And here's another thing. J. Cole is not a guy that disses people. It's just not his modality. It's just not his image, right? And ironically, in a Dreamville concert, he apologized to him. So
I saw that.
After a couple of days, you diss a guy, and then he's like, "It wasn't in my spirit." I'm like, "What is that?" Like,
it was the dreadlocks talking.
Why did you diss him? Like, it makes no sense. And like, there are a lot of people that are saying it's very big on him, and I'm like, yes, it's very mature. Then why did you diss him in the first place? But yes, like, as a human being, you can change your mind, but it made no sense. And for that particular beef, I just felt that it was much to do about nothing. And specifically why Kendrick picked on J. Cole in that is apparently there was another rap where J. Cole and Drake referred to J. Cole, Drake, bear with me, and Kendrick as the big three, like the three gods or something like that of rap, which makes sense in modern rap. The big three. So then I'm thinking, hold up. that's a compliment, dude. Like, why would you diss someone off the back of that?
Because
So
he doesn't
took
think
that.
because he doesn't think he's on the same level.
By the he being Kendrick, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Wait, so J.
follow
Cole
me.
said that they're the three,
In a J. Cole and Drake track, they talked about themselves in the three.
and then what? Kendrick got
Then
annoyed.
Kendrick said, "It's not the big three; it's the big me."
Yeah.
Okay, it's not three; it's I'm better than all of you. And then J. Cole, 4 years later, decides, you know what? It's time to diss this guy because like things are going a bit slow. This is just my hypothesis. And then 2 days later, he's like, you know what? This is bad for my juju. I don't feel this is right, so I'm gonna apologize because I'm a real man. And then after that, now let's go to this Drake one, which has come up now. Drake is going at Kendrick. I think it's called The Push Up. There were a lot of people that said that it was an AI-based track, actually, and that there've been AI-based tracks that have been released. But no, alas, apparently it is Drake going for Kendrick. And like, there's like literal double entendres, there's pseudonyms, there's multiple meanings on this song. I'm not gonna go into it. But look, as you know, a former rap concert, I say former because like, I say, when's the last time Drake released a track that like that I like?
Baby,
Bum, bum.
I like your
A
style.
lot of people
And that's
hate-
enough.
A
That
lot
was
of people hated that
2016,
version of
wow.
Drake, and I will say, for someone that actually really likes Kendrick Lamar as well, I didn't necessarily enjoy his last album, and whatever. Like, you don't have to enjoy everyone's album, but like, he's another one that I haven't like listened in a long while. And what was J. Cole's last album?
He's had a recent one.
Has he?
I'm pretty sure, like in the last year.
No, he hasn't. Actually, hold up. The last album was 2014, Forest Hills Drive, which was a...
No,
That can't be right. Sorry,
no.
you're right. Yeah.
Thank you.
2021, the off
Oh.
season. The off season. Yeah, like...
As if it was going to be 7 years
See, but
ago.
like,
Was his,
but hold up. Here's the thing. This is what makes artists...
10 years ago.
This is what makes artists that are relevant. Forest
I
Hills
can't
Drive-
math either. I'm
For-
sorry,
okay.
J. Cole, for offending you.
Forest
I
Hills
can't
Drive
math either.
Was one of his better albums. That's why I keep going back to it, right? And
I mean, you
here's-
stay there, yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Like, and this is not a rap thing, but like, often your best artists, like,
We'll release their like
new stuff, and you're gonna be a bit disillusioned
Yeah.
about it, right? Your first 4 albums, if you're lucky, your first album is gonna be the one that you resonated with. Your second album is probably gonna be like, why did you deviate? Your third album is the comeback. The fourth album is there, and then it just goes downhill. Usually, that's kind of like roughly like the arc, right? But I think what we've seen is like in rap, who are the biggest pop like music stars at the moment?
rap
No, just say music as a whole.
music. Well, so obviously Tay
Let's call it
Tay.
pop, right? Because
Yeah.
Drake is pop rap, pop music, whether you like it or not.
Well,
right?
okay.
It's Taylor Swift. I agree.
They've
Yeah.
got Tay Tay,
Yeah.
but then we've also got like
Bruno
so-
hasn't released anything
no,
recent, so
well,
like,
Bruno's in trouble.
That's right.
We don't talk about Bruno. No. What Dua?
well,
Ice
Beyonce,
Spice.
because she released something.
Like and I'm saying Ice Spice because it's like the kids the kids apparently
You mean
like
Jack
it.
Harlow?
Like who else is big in
Music's in a
music?
pretty like pop. I reckon pop music's in a pretty bad space. Like, cause like all of these new artists are like fucking shocking.
So
They're shocking.
shocking. All right, thanks,
Even
Kev,
Beyonce's
for
new
you.
album was a bit
Okay.
shocking.
No, don't you
Well,
dare!
we have another.
Don't you
we
dare!
have a whole podcast or episode coming up on that.
Okay.
It's without like again, we've got another podcast going on about it, but it's the generational change that is happening when it comes to music.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy to think that from a rap perspective, and it's also the influence of I guess pop. I don't even know how to explain electronic, if it's the right one, or dubstep or whatever.
EDM, something like that, yeah.
Basically it gets into this weird kind of there was somebody had made commentary about music in oh geez, I can't remember what year it was, but it's when the fall of like R&B and rap is pinpointed in the year of whenever Neo started doing
With Calvin Harris.
yes, that's the one.
So that
I would
was.
love
And
if, yeah.
that is apparently the downfall
I would love if there's like a
of these genres.
place where you can actually see what's the percentage of like I don't know what you'd classify old or new. Like if new artists, maybe like the last 3 years, are being played more than like older songs and stuff like that, because I don't know, just on a like optics level, the latest albums by a variety of artists have been very like disappointing to me. But you know, we have a specific thing about that. But speaking specifically to the rap beefs, like you've heard me go through it, I generally think it's a PR stunt. A lot of people are saying the PR stunt. It's entertaining, maybe, yes, for a lot of people, but
It's like, guys, where's the what am I trying to say
Solidarity?
here? No, not solidarity. Where's the threats of violence? If
Oh,
we're gonna
yeah,
go old
true.
school back into like
no, man, like, but the irony
I'm joking.
The irony is, if the music is good, like rap and R&B has predominantly been, at least of recent, no, like in the 2000s plus maybe, but maybe a bit later than that, a collaborative genre, if that makes sense. Like you'd have Drake featuring, the features are massive, right? Like you don't have massive features in like country albums, for example. It's usually the artist soloing himself.
Well,
It's not a country album. Maybe we can go through that. But that's what I mean. So
it's
like
a Beyonce. It's a Beyonce album.
Stay tuned.
If
next
we're
week.
going to that, if we're going down that path, stop fighting with each other. Stop bickering. Like build each other up, guys. We can do better. We can do better. Produce
We're
better
going
music.
for an uplifting episode today.
Produce better music, not this faux gun violence. You're not Tupac, all right? We're not in the 90s. We don't have to go east side, west side. You come on the same side. Same side.
Unite against the greater enemy, which is bad music. Just make good music.
I can't wait. I actually can't wait for this music podcast, because I think like we can talk about it. But like, yeah, look, these rap beefs, I'm not gonna waste any time in it, because to be honest,
We already have.
the
Sorry,
music
guys.
has to be good to waste some time for it. But anyway, we're done. J. Cole, man, we can do better than this. We can do better than this.
And since then as well, I believe he's taken that off streaming as well. That
Oh, really?
The
Yeah,
7
he has.
minute
Wait,
thing, whatever.
sorry. I know we're not supposed to spend time on it as well, but you know, like Kanye as well apparently is involved to a degree in all of this.
I'm done.
Yeah.
We're cutting it off there before.
Kanye, yeah, lost relevancy after Can You Get Much High? the album, dude. My Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think. Is that there's
What a
actually
track,
track?
by the way.
No,
What a track.
after probably I'll give like yes, that's the
No,
best.
to be honest,
That's the best of his work. But then Jesus to a degree was still
Yeah,
you know,
actually,
yeah.
I love. That was the last album that I could.
Honey.
Okay. Well, as we've teased numerous times, watch out for the next episode where we'll
Be good.
Numerous
Be good.
times.
It was-
Did
we
we? Did we?
will
Discussion.
cover
Did we say that? Yeah.
we will cover music to an extended degree. Alrighty. We're gonna go to the next topic, which is more onto tech actually, especially with the recent reviews by Marques Brown on particular tech devices.
Okay, one. I can't believe you don't know Marques Brown. Like,
I
you
do,
don't know?
I do,
Yeah.
mate. But like, I don't.
Mate.
I'm
Are you
mate.
mating me, mate?
Like, take it down. Take your beef down a notch, yeah. Because like we let you like self combust there because it's actually pretty entertaining. I
I
must say.
felt just briefly for a moment, I was like, "Where's Kev's board?"
Yeah.
He needed to be something to point to.
I'm gonna do the board on the
On the music episode, that's what's gonna happen.
Anyway, so
No,
Marques.
yes, so
okay.
I do know of the guy.
Yeah.
He's it's YouTube.
Marques Brown is basically the world's he's the Mr. Beast of technology reviews.
Influential.
He's got 18 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. And he's interviewed everyone from Kobe Bryant to Sundar Pichai. He is big Tesla, Elon Musk, right? So he does product reviews, right?
Yeah.
Tech, everything. And interestingly enough, when he talks, people listen, right? He's done a couple of really scathing reviews on certain products, right? And there are two products in particular. I'm going to open up his YouTube channel. And this product, okay, I'm just going to try that Fisker one, right? So he actually has a channel on electric cars or cars called Autofocus as well. And there is a car called the Fisker, what is it? Marcus. Oh, man. anyway, it's called Fisker, right? Like that's the name of the brand, right? So there are basically an EV company that was struggling to kind of begin with, right? And he did a review on this EV, and the title was, "This is the worst car I've ever reviewed, ever," right? It got 6 million views, right? Literally with that title, right? Firstly, that's a pretty clickbaity title.
Yeah.
And secondly, this is Marques Brown, right? Like, and this guy's reviewed like millions of things, right? So for someone to say that was intense, right? And this got shared in LinkedIn multiple times. I saw it there. And after that, and here, the irony is a lot of people had done reviews of this car and it didn't get the best reviews, but he's wording specifically that, like, that's a pretty aggressive wording, right? To say it's the worst product I've ever reviewed, right? As a baseline. After a couple of days there, the price of Fisker basically plummeted, right? And people were saying 6 million reviews, that it was in correspondence to that. So that's number one. Number two, let me just finish all of it and we can talk about it. 4 days ago, Marques Brown did another review on a product, and this product has got slammed across the board. And it is basically a humane AI pin, right?
A what?
The name of it is the humane AI pin. I don't even know how to explain this, but like before going to it, the title is "The Worst Product I've Ever Reviewed, ... for now." Very clickbaity, obviously. This is 4 days ago, and it's got over 6 million views, so it's gonna blast through.
Is that his standard views, like number of views?
He's huge, right? But no, even amongst his views, but he gets these views, but 6 million in 4 days is an insane run rate.
Yeah.
It means it's gonna break through 20. Not usually at that rate, right? And ironically, this particular product, I'm not going to go through the product again, has got bad reviews from other people before. But again, because Marques has such a big standing in the community, and in line with what happened with Fisker, some people are saying, and there's this online debate, the debate was, can product reviewers have such a big bearing on the success of a product and or a company? In the case for this pin, this is a company. This is the first product launched by this company, I believe, right? So if your product gets that scathing a review from a top influencer, can you actually come back for it, even if you review it? And there's a lot of people that are saying that, dude, it's actually irresponsible to say such things for companies, for especially new companies there. And there was such a massive discourse and like debate amongst this that Marques released his own video talking about the concept of it. So I now lay to you, do you believe that individuals of high influence within that, like on Twitter, wherever, YouTube specifically, or product reviews, do they have a duty of care to not be so harsh if products are indeed bad? Or ironically, that's probably what, if you're a product reviewer, that's what people flock towards, if that makes sense. Your honesty, right? So what's your view on it?
No one man should have all that power.
That's literally what someone said, right? Like literally there, you have 18 million subscribers, and a lot of people are saying to Marques that, and he actually talked about it in his view, that when people look at your reviews, like watching reviews is a big thing, especially mobile phone reviews, right?
Yeah.
People watch reviews with no intention of ever buying a phone. They just watch reviews. So, and that's a big thing. That's how tech reviewers get. So it's like tech porn, right? In the same way that you watch people eating, even though you know you can't afford to go to that restaurant. That's the whole reason that we can actually talk about that. Masterchef was like invented, like food porn and that, right? But what that means is that of the 6 million, let's just talk about this AI pin, right? 6 million that watch it, maybe less than 0.5% actually ever was intended to buy this product. And 99.5 are just looking at it for entertainment, right?
Yeah, because they follow him.
They follow him, right? So now, before they're even considered this brand, because this is a new brand, they've got it tainted by an influencer.
Defamation.
It's not defamation if it's like
But it could
your
be.
opinion, right?
It could be defamation.
But again, what's your view? Do you think that, again, and his view is like, especially for the Fisker car, which was going through issues way before, if a product is bad, that is my view. And then it's the same as we do. If we do a reaction video or a review of a movie, it's our view. Our view doesn't have to count for anything, but we don't have the views that this guy has, right?
But but also it's probably, how am I going to say this? A movie
there's a difference in
Yeah.
terms of its value of consumerism.
Yeah.
Because a movie, for example, is just for entertainment. You're watching it.
Well,
But these are tech products are something that are going to be used.
well, I could say that like there's a very you could counter argue there's a value. He's doing a valuable service because this tech, by the way, was $700 and has a $24 a month fee, right? So that's a fair amount of cash there. So if I was in the market there and I watched his review, you've saved me $700 and $24 a month because I'm not going to touch that rubbish. There's a counterpoint there, but I guess,
and it's also, truthfully as well, you're probably also thinking about like a good majority of those audience that are watching it have not even heard about the thing, have now heard about the thing through him.
yeah.
And will avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the thing is these two products and companies that he mentioned, they were effectively startups. So they're gone. Like it's very hard. And here's the irony: if you make a mistake in anonymity,
Yeah.
you can come back from it.
Yeah.
If we do say something controversial in outside, we're not getting views, right? Like at certain levels. However, once you're at a certain level, the microscope is just bigger, right?
I think this is what there's something interesting here, right? Because
Yeah.
opinion is one thing.
Yeah.
That's correct, right? But then, like you said, with the clickbaity type of
Engagement.
the headline of the video, the title of the video, there is a different motive in like he's like, this is what it is. He's arguably profiteering
Of course he is.
out of pulling, like decimating a company, right? That's why I say defamation, because
What about the flip side when he gives a good review on a new company and then they flip? I guess his point would be the product will stand on its merit. I'm merely going to amplify it. But again,
you should be there should be, if you've got that platform,
Yeah.
in the same way that we talk about any celebrity or person of high status, and if you're in the public, unfortunately there is a weight that you have to carry in how you choose. It's probably how you choose to say things. He didn't have to say it was the worst product,
But
right?
what if he genuinely believed that? He
But-
can say that, like in 100 products I've ever reviewed, this is the worst.
Truthfully, okay, this is going to be truthfully, right? He probably didn't even think that was going to be a possibility of the impact that he had on that
Not
product.
the first one, but I'm
first
sure
one.
the second one.
The second
He
one,
went-
that's just him on his ego now, and now he's
Well,
like,
ego, but ego, or like again, like if you genuinely believe that it is.
you don't have anything nice to say. Be
can't
mindful of
say
your
that.
words.
Yeah. Say it in a better
Say
way.
it in a constructive way.
Criticism.
He probably
way.
did.
This applies to Mr. J. Cole. This applies to Mr.
It
Drake.
just didn't move in my spirit. It just didn't feel right.
There's power in words.
Yeah. Look,
Don't be a dick.
I don't think it's being a dick though. Like I actually don't think it's being a dick. But it is interesting to see now how certain individuals within whatever field can hold so much concentrated power. But again, like it's just the stakes could mean, life or death for certain companies, right? And like I think it is flowing through there. Like for this company, can they actually come back after? Okay, do you believe in the saying that any publicity is good publicity? Because in this case, this is such bad publicity that got 6 million views.
I think there's a
line.
line.
Yeah,
I think there's a line, and then there's a cost to pay if you pass that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Because
Yep.
there's so much media, right? It's not as if it's just like back in the day where it's just a TV show and everyone's
a
watching that same
newspaper.
thing, right?
Yeah.
There's different sources, and this guy, he's probably the closest to that old time where having like a mass audience
For a particular interest or
Yeah.
Interest, yeah. Because a lot of people that watch reviews and stuff like that are doing for entertainment, ironically, right? They are, right? It's their form of
Infotainment is the
yeah,
correct term.
Yeah. anyway, just do you, Marcus? You know, just do you.
Nah,
Just
be
do you,
nice, man. Be nice.
You can be nice.
Be constructive.
Construct.
Have a rubric.
Yes.
Don't
Consistent.
throw inflammatory language. That's
Okay,
for
it's
us.
not-
That's for us everyday folk when we're mad about
Who don't have that much power.
no, or when we're really mad at a restaurant for
Move on. Okay. Speaking of, hold up. I've got an extra topic that I'm just going to interject.
Bonus
Alright.
round.
Bonus round is
round.
just one. MasterChef is next week, right?
Yes.
What are we looking? Okay, what are we looking?
Return of the Pope.
Okay, what are we- What are we looking for? Okay, Australian MasterChef, by the way. But what are we looking forward to MasterChef, and what are we not looking forward to MasterChef?
I'm looking forward to how they're going to rebrand, and
You
try.
mean the new judges?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
What are you not looking forward to? Because I know what I'm not looking forward to. Poll for
has
3
been-
months on my TV.
I'm worried that you know what I'm worried about. I could be wrong. Maybe it's hit its saturation point.
Yeah, I think this is the year I'm not gonna watch MasterChef religiously. Last year was the year too.
Last year I dropped off.
Yeah,
No, and it wasn't.
I'm worried that we're gonna say bye bye, and it's.
I think it's too long. It's actually too long, and there's too much of it. So they do need to change. It's not judges, right? I mean, it's not ex-contestants. It's individuals.
It's new.
Which is
it's
good.
New, it's new blood.
I think
Yeah.
that's good, but they need to make it shorter and punchier. I don't know how, but
They released
and they need to really get more characters.
They released the new cast photo, and so I was just having a little looky loo.
How's our diversity split?
Yeah, that's my first one where
That's my dim sims.
it was. I saw at least 7 people of color.
That's good.
Oh well, just based on
7 of
face
what, though?
value.
10, 20.
24.
24. Based on face value, though, we don't know. Some of them might be mixed. We will find out. But yeah, I don't know, because of course, we tend to if there usually is always an Asian in the new seasons.
There better be more than one variation.
We'll latch on to them, hope they get far.
Fired.
But then also
yes.
I guess to your point about having a personalities,
more
right?
personality,
People that
hopefully.
you can
Root
rally
for.
for.
Can I
Yes.
say the stick that MasterChef uses of getting overseas judges? I'm over it. I don't want to see Jamie Oliver.
Jamie Oliver's there for
Is
2
in the-
weeks. What are you talking about?
You know what? Okay, so
Because Gordon's got his own show now, so he's not going to be there.
You and I like about the food is when we watch travel documentaries where they take food there, right?
Give it to me, Tucci.
And I remember back in the day. I can't remember what season it was. Did they go to Japan or something? They did go to Japan.
One of the earlier.
They were
Oh,
one of the
yeah,
early
yeah,
ones.
one of the early
They
ones.
connected with Travel Japan. I think that they condense it. They can condense it, and someone like Jamie Oliver would cost a bomb. I don't think it would cost a bomb to take these guys over. I'm not saying
No,
to
the
Europe or
production
something like that.
value of doing that is a lot.
you
And
can
plus,
And they've
It's
hitched their
smaller.
wagon on making sure this is
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah.
They'll rather go to
I don't want to see
Australia.
Poe, man. I don't
yeah,
wanna see Poe.
domestic,
I don't
know.
want to see Poe for 3 months. Is it 3 months?
Why is Asian on Asian violence,
Asian-
mate?
I
But
just-
this is the other thing, right?
just
It's
don't
the
like
it's
Poe,
the
bro.
longevity. It's the longevity
Poe could
play.
be white for all
Take
occasions.
whoa.
All right,
I just think I don't like
But
Poe.
take your issue up with the networks, right? Because they're having to have these what am I going to call them? The what's the word I'm going for here? The big title properties and
Mastheads. What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
no, like the big shows, they have to last for a certain period during the
you mean the months in the year?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
because of the cycle of the shows that they
Yeah,
go
all
through.
their ads and all what they sell. Yeah. We'll see, but I think this is the year that we might. Go
I
off the
fear
banner
I
of
fear
Masterchef.
too. We might drop off maybe.
well, it's also let's also put it in perspective, right?
There's more things to watch.
One, there's other things to watch, but I think it's just because of
almost the same.
because of how last season ended, right? So now with
How did it end? I can't
with-
even
well,
remember.
no, in
sorry,
terms
you
of what
mean-
happened, yes.
with Jock gone and now Mel is gone, it
It's
kind
Jock,
of
but yeah.
feels like it's just
We had a good thing.
we had a good thing going, and
And
then we had to
then-
restart this relationship again with 2 people we
Alright.
don't know,
Yeah,
2
yeah.
former contestants that
Yeah, but I think
the
even with
judges
Jock
now.
and Mel, like the concept was running on fire anyway. I think that tipped it, but like I think before that was happening. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes in
Tune in to Channel
Masterchef.
10.
We might touch on it next
What
week
happened?
after we watch the
It's
first 4
actually
episodes.
It's actually genuinely crazy when you think about it. How much reality TV is on like
Channel 10?
just
Oh,
all
just
of the
in
networks.
general?
All of the networks.
Oh yeah, and how
cheap.
we kind of know
It's cheap to produce.
we associate it with which month of the year it's gonna come out. Because, like, for example, we know Survivors that started the
did
year.
MasterChef start later in the year? I felt like last year was earlier. I don't know. Oh, no, is this about right?
Usually, no, MasterChef usually starts around May. I do remember
After
it's
Easter.
It's
After
after
Easter?
Easter, and then it runs all the way up until like August.
Yeah.
Yeah,
August?
we usually in Europe.
Around that, yeah.
May,
Before
June,
spring
yeah.
comes in.
Yeah,
middle
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
And then usually it's Bachelor, but it's not going to be Bachelor anymore. It'll be something else.
We need a new stick, man. It can't be food all the time.
It needs to be
Here we go.
good original content.
Here we go.
Interesting stories,
Yes.
diversity.
Yes.
That's what it needs to be.
Here we go.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
Even Chances
Yeah.
over this.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll find out how it is. We might touch on it next episode. We'll see.
Yeah,
After
might
we
release a
watch
diss
the
track
first
on
four
Poe.
episodes. All right, you work on
Wow.
that. You bring your board in.
Wow.
You bring your board in, and yeah. Alrighty. Well, at least
That was F37?
we we jumped back on the horse. We're back in it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Comment below on all the videos on the sections. Share your thoughts, constructive thoughts with nice words, guys. That's the moral of today's
Who's your
episode.
favorite rapper? What's your
Gemini.
favorite diss
Use
track?
Gemini.
What are you looking forward to, MasterChef?
Peace.
Honestly.
Take care of yourselves, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.